Welcome to my channel. Today, portraying web development. I'm taking a change. I know it has taken me like forever. Introduction to HTML. Now, this is a partial introduction to web development. I'll be doing a segment from HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Right now, we'll start with HTML. Then, with the time, I will upgrade to CSS, then to more advanced JavaScript. Then maybe we can head to others like Python, Angular, more other JavaScript frameworks. But for now, let's start slow. So, introduction to HTML. Now, HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. So, HTML itself, it's not a programming language, like JavaScript, like Python, like C Sharp, C++. HTML, it's a markup language, meaning it's just used for display purposes. HTML itself can't be used to process data like JavaScript. It's for visuals. It can't be used for dynamics. When you click mouse and you see the beep, that's JavaScript. So markup language only, it's used for visuals only. It's like when you're drawing a picture on a wall. It's just picture. Then with the more time you add the cloning. You keep a shirt, you keep some sneakers, a cool hat, some shades. That's now we head to CSS. CSS is more about beautification, making this thing look interesting. Aesthetics. CSS makes things so interesting, attractive. Then upgrade to JavaScript. Now, JavaScript is where things get much more interesting. That's where now you can make the picture. Let's say it's a boy. You've dressed him, cool shades, cool sneakers, a nice shirt. Now, for JavaScript, you can make this boy dance. You can insert down some coding in your programming editor and instruct the boy to dance. That will happen. Sing, that's JavaScript. Make for action, JavaScript action. HTML only physicality. CSS beautification. So for now, but HTML is the most basic part of web development. Without HTML, there's no website. You can't develop a website with no HTML. Well, believe me, I can say it's the easiest part and it's critical. So that's where we start. So that we say it's a markup language. It's only used for just display only. No action, no beauty. It's just something ugly like a skeleton. Now we use HTML elements to that to describe the structure of a web page by telling. So we use HTML elements to describe the structure of a web page by telling the browser what to display, telling the browser the type, the content, also to display content. So right now I want us to create a simple HTML document. No. Let's just first now with that we head to HTML elements. HTML elements are characters in a web page that contain tags and must have an opening and closing tag. That's what's described an HTML element. All HTML elements must contain a opening and a closing tag. Almost not all, but I mostly advise you to just use it as a beginner. So this is the tag. It's a bracket. You just shift on your keyboard and pray. That's an opening. This is an opening tag. Both H1 represents the attribute and the tag. Then this is the closing tag. A closing tag must always have a slash to close that. So in full use, I can say H1, my first heading. So this is a H1 tag element. There are many others like P. P element, it's more standing of paragraph. You use this element when you want to add a paragraph in your topic. There are many others, a lot. We cover them on the way, but for now, let's just keep things simple. So, when developing a website, we have two sides. Two sides. One is like the back end and the front end. The back end is the editor where you write down your code. Where now this type of code, these elements and everything, they go to the back end. It's really it's a simple back end. There are more advanced back end, but let's now use the back end. This is your site, the developer side. This is what you do on the back end. Now, for you to see your results, you have to have a front end, a display. The display where now web browsers are what are designed to make this possible. Now, web browsers, the main purpose of browsers is to read, process HTML language and display the content correctly on a web page. Now, let's say you say P, paragraph. You go back to your backend, type P, so on the other side, you won't see the P. Those tags are just on your backend. Now the browser processes, it reads, okay, you said, I'm typing P, so he means he wants to start a paragraph. Meaning now on the other side, all you see is the content inside those tags. You open the P tag and you have a closing tag, and in between the opening and closing, you had somewhere, let's say, my name is John Doe. So that is the only thing that will be displayed on the other side, the browser. So the browser uses HTML elements for direction and are not displayed on the screen, only the format and the content that is displayed. So examples of web browsers, I know everybody knows it: Google Chrome, Safari, Microsoft Edge, Firefox, Opera, and many others. So like this one, content inside the body element will be displayed on the web page, while content inside the title element will be displayed on the page tab. Now, I know we haven't yet done a simple HTML document. We'll get to that in a minute so I can show you what the body element means and the title element means so that these can really stick what it means for the content. Now, let's head to HTML editors. These are programming editors used by programmers when writing or inputting code before being processed and given output onto a browser. Example, the most used and which I most recommend with the time will be Visual Studio Code. There is Sublime Text. And for the beginners, we can use Notepad. Notepad is easy for everybody. It's pre-installed to every PC. So we'll use that in a minute to create a simple HTML document, and you'll see what I've been talking about. So before we start on creating a HTML document, let's learn some basics by creating a simple HTML document. Now, to create a simple HTML document, just go Notepad, go to your search bar, search Notepad, open. Now, just do as I say, and then I'll explain every single detail later. Now, doc type HTML. Then you type HTML. See what I'm doing? Every element has a close opening. Now in HTML, we'll add another element which is title. Now the title of your website. Let's say my first website. Then close, as you'll say, close. Never forget to close. If you don't close your tags, if you don't close your elements, the browser won't be able to process that information, so it'll be left hanging. So when you open your browser, you won't see my first website because your browser didn't understand what you're trying to say. So after the title, oh, I'm sorry, I forgot. So for the title to work, there's a head element that runs there. then you close the head element. So we are done with the head element. The other things that we'll be adding as we advance, so don't just think it's just the title. This head element really carries something we call meta description, but I'll explain that in a bit. So after the head, it's like the body parts. You start from head, go to your chest, neck, chest, stomach, waist, knees, toes, right? The same as this. There's a head, there's a foot, there's a body. So right now, after the head, we head to the body. We go to body element. Then in the body element, there's a couple of things that we can add, like the H1 that we were talking about. So H1 element, you say heading 1. H1 is only used when you're trying to write, topic. H1 close. Now I want to show you the difference of H1. There's 6 different types. So we'll copy that, then copy it 5 other times. Paste, paste, paste. So for those who don't understand, I'm using Control C, press Control C on my Windows. I'm using Windows, so I'm not sure for the Linux and the Mac. If you don't know, you can only use your mouse. If what I'm saying, so H4, 5, the list. The last one is H6. So H1 is the biggest, and it goes by reducing its size. Then we can add another element, which is the P, which is, I say, is a paragraph. My first paragraph, close. Now with that, I think this is a simple HTML document, so we won't be adding too many elements. So we can close the body, and then now close the HTML tag. Always make sure all your elements are, once you open them, they are closed. They are always closed. So HTML, boom. With this, now say go to the file, click save as, then you can save it in your documents desktop for faster access. Then just say first or index 1. I had another one, so I'll just save it as index 1. No, index.html. Always make sure you add HTML so that the file can be recognized as a HTML document and not just mistook for, Microsoft Word, or a JPG image. Then click save. Now we have created a simple HTML document. Now let's see the results of our, so here it is. Say open, there you go. Now as you can see, the text becomes from bigger to smaller to smaller. My first paragraph, we can add a simple one. Let's say, what is it called? Link element, a hyperlink. So let's just create a link element. Always make sure it's inside the body so that it can be displayed on your web page. So link ahref is equals to https, which is hypertext protocol service, https to the /youtube.com, close, then there's alt. This is for the image, I'm sorry. This, it will just say click this link, or let's say click to watch my video, right? Then now you close the A element. As I said, or make sure it is a slash. Voila. So Control S to save, which has been saved. So if you go to our browser and refresh, it should appear. Then click to watch my video. If you're online, it should take you to YouTube like mine. takes me to YouTube directory, showing that the link is working. Now let's get back to where we were. And this is the real YouTube. It's functioning. It's not just from doc type. Make sure this element must appear only once at the top of the page, and it's not case sensitive. So you can use capital letters, small letters. Then we had when we created the HTML element. This is the root element of our HTML page. Now the browser now recognizes this as a HTML uh, file and not a JavaScript or CSS. So it will process this as an HTML file, even if you added JavaScript, still be processed as HTML. So head element, this element contains meta info about the HTML page. As I said, I'll explain what meta is. And meta information is the information used by browsers to help in search engines. You know, when you go and you're searching, sometimes when you're searching a word, like I say malaria, and a list of like 1,000 websites just pop up on your search results. So like Google tells you, let's even do an example so that you can understand what I'm saying when I say meta description. So you come here, you search malaria. So when you search malaria, there's Wikipedia, there's Mayo Clinic, there's WHO, CDC. There's a lot of websites that have content concerning malaria. Now, how did the Google search engine know which what to bring you malaria? Because as you know, Wikipedia talks about many things, not just malaria, it talks about politics, sports, science, education, technology. So how did it know to just go for malaria? Now, this is where the meta information about the website comes in. Now, here on your head, there is something that we call meta. For now, I won't show you much, but if you continue watching my videos, you'll see what I'm talking about. Here, meta, you can description. My website, I want it to be English version, so you have to add English. So you have to search some keywords. What's your website about? Someone wants to, maybe your website's about cooking. So you have to add some cooking words, keywords on your meta description so that when I'm searching something about cooking, even your website appears on my list on my Google search. Let's say it's about sports. So I'm searching NBA. So if you're talking about NBA, and so you have to insert the description of your website at the meta. So Google uses meta to find what your website about. So see if your content is relevant to a user search engine. What I'm searching, is it relevant to what my website is all about? I'm searching about cooking. Oh, my website is about Ken's Kitchen. So yeah, it's about cooking. So if it's something related on that, so my website might appear on your list. Click on it. It's easier to boost you for viewership. Uh, Other things that Meta is used for things like to reload the page, keyword optimization. So let's go to body. So in body, to say this element contains all visible content on a web page. So such as image, paragraph, video, hyperlinks, like we did here. So this is what is displayed. Where is my website? Where is my website? Now, this is the body. This with the all white content. This is the body. So any element that you add on the body elements, they'll appear in this white shade. So this is the hyperlink, this is the paragraph element, this is the H1 to the H6. If I add an image, it will still appear somewhere here. Now at the head, the title, if I had the title, it will appear somewhere on top here on the tab. Here's my tab. This is where, so let me just cancel all this other and see if maybe we can get heading 1, then you put some content under something, some contents. Heading 2, other contents. Heading 3, meaning heading 1 is the most main. Heading down to heading 6, which is the least of the topic. It's like a sub of the major. I know I'm still cranky. I'll do some at it, but with time I hope I'll become better at explaining more. It's my first time doing it, so hope you understand. Uh, by that, I think that's it for today. I'll be trying to create a video, 15-minute video every day. Hope that it helps someone out there. Okay, that's it. Bye. Ciao.